Excuse me. What's up, everybody? We're back again with another episode, the fourth episode to be exact. Let me get my mic straight just a little bit. I know it's been a problem in current weeks. Haven't been able to see my face for real, but you all can see it now. But welcome back to Trae Ball, fourth episode. This week I have, this is not the first time he's been on this, well, he hasn't been on this show, but it's not the first time since he's been down here. Last time you seen him, he was on How You Doing, where we got to talk about him as a person and all the trials he went through and the adversity he had to face through as a college student and as a young entrepreneur. Today, he is joining me as a fellow sports analyst. I wouldn't give him that much of a title. It's not really his specialty like me. But he
especially around callously, baby.
Yeah, but he likes to talk about basketball. He's one of the guys I go to like when I like talking about basketball, like especially important topics throughout the league. He's one of those guys I can like talk to. He understands much of the game like I do. If not, maybe a little more in some subjects. I'll give him that. I wouldn't say in everything, but in some things, some aspects.
We gonna see.
Yeah.
We gonna see. We got a lot of topics. We gonna see who comes out on top.
Yeah.
I wish we had a scoreboard.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, George Bell.
Aye.
So yeah, let's get straight into it. Hold on, you can go ahead. Let me go get my water real quick. I know this is not usual.
Well, I guess this is the Bucket Patrol show because I brought mine already. I guess somehow the guest was more prepared than the host.
No. It was already here. I just didn't have it underneath.
But you know me, always ready. Just like debates, I'm already up 1-0.
Right. Anyway, let's start the show off with a main topic or just a main storyline that's going around the league right now. And it's something I've been noticing since kind of like the beginning of the season. And it's like this team has been having questions since they formed up in the summer. I'm talking about the 76ers, to be exact. Many of them, many people around the league and followers of basketball questioned how this team was going to hold up in the season with them not signing Jimmy Butler and signing Tobias Harris to that max contract, which I don't think he deserved. But get your chicken, man. And signing Al Horford, he got like $100-some million contract as well.
Terrible contract.
And they traded for Josh Richardson when they did kind of like a sign and trade deal for Jimmy Butler. We see like there was questions. The glaring problem when the team formed was like just their shooting. That was the glaring thing we know is like, well, they're big, they got good size, but can they shoot? And as the season has progressed, obviously they can't shoot. That's still a major issue for that team. And what's becoming an even bigger issue is just their play style. With Joel Embiid kind of wanting to slowing down the pace and kind of like want to post up his players down low and like I said, slow it down. With Ben Simmons, because Joel Embiid been hurt for most of the season. Ben Simmons he's been very consistent in his play throughout the season. And he's like playing fast in transition because Ben Simmons, he specializes in transition buckets. And he's like just increasing the tempo of that team. And they've been playing really well when he does that. So that's been kind of the main problem going on. The 76ers did beat the Nets last night without Kyrie, and the 76ers did not have Ben Simmons. He was out with a lower back tightness after following All-Star weekend. They beat him 112-104. The fans booed Joel Embiid again, but I think they might have been in Philly this game when they was in Brooklyn last time I checked. Do you remember?
No, they played. They played in Philly.
They played in Philly again.
Yeah.
I saw the notification say that they booed him again. So obviously the fans are taking offense to what's going on in Philly right now. So it's not just people that analyze basketball. Like the fans are having enough, and it's crazy too when you think about it. For the many years they endured for the process, that now I can understand their frustration because they waited so long, and the years that they had to endure for them to get to where they are right now, and to like be told, being told
for what, second round exits?
Yeah, for first round exits maybe. If they play the Heat in the first round, the way the current season sits, they lose that. To me, I think they would.
Yeah, I would say I'll take the Heat. You know me, I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan, so
you are a big Jimmy Butler fan.
He's very underrated.
This the guy that said that Jimmy Butler deserves to be MVP over Kawhi Leonard.
No, see, context is so important. I said that neither one of them is going to win MVP, but if we really broke down a ranking and we just kept going down the list of people, because pretty much once you get out like the top three, because the top three is Giannis, LeBron, and I guess who we say at 3? Luka or James Harden. But pretty much even really, it's really Giannis, LeBron. Everybody else is just in the ranking just by, default, because you need a third or fourth guy if you keep going down the list. But I was just saying, if you kept going down the list, Jimmy Butler would be higher on that list than Kawhi, in my opinion. That's the only thing that's the only thing I was saying. I didn't say he would win MVP. I didn't say he was really a candidate. I didn't say he was going to be a finalist. I didn't say he was better than Kawhi. That is all I said. Context. Go ahead.
That's besides the point. That's a different argument for a different day. But, George, I want to toss it to you and kind of get your opinion. Well, let me get into the quote that he said. Because last night, Joel Embiid did finish with 39 points and 16 rebounds. Like I said, granted, they did play the Nets without Kyrie, who's just been injured for the rest of the season. We'll talk about that later. He made a quote following the game talking about his mindset during All-Star Weekend. And the quote goes, I'm taking it out of context a little bit, but he said, just proving I'm here, I belong, and being the best player in the world. I just intend to keep coming out every single night and just play hard and try to win a championship. Now, with this quote that he said, is Joel Embiid the best player in the world?
No. He's not even the best center in the world.
Whoa, you don't think he's the best center?
No, I'd rather have Jokic, to be honest.
Okay, the way Joker's been playing lately, we'll get into that too. But the way he's been playing, I can see that. But I'll just let you. I'll toss it to you, and I'll go back to my point. But go ahead.
Well, my thing is with Joel Embiid is that how can you be the best player in the world when you're not even your best version of you right now? Because when you look at his points have dropped, his rebounds have dropped. I believe his blocks have dropped. I don't know if his assists have dropped. But pretty much we look at him in almost every major statistical category.
He's averaging, so for the season, he's averaging 23 points with 1 block. He has 3 assists and 12 rebounds versus last season where he averaged almost 28 points. He averaged almost 2 blocks, 4 assists. So assists kind of were around almost close to 4 assists and 14 rebounds. So his numbers did drop this season. He's not even the best version of himself, like you said.
That's my thing. And even when he was, that Joel Embiid, nobody was really looking at him and saying, like, oh, this Joel Embiid is really vying for the MVP. Like, he wasn't even a top 5 finisher last year. And again, you're the best player in the world playing with another all-star in Ben Simmons. But then the 76ers don't even have home court advantage right now in an East where the 7th seed is under 500. So when I look at that, that doesn't scream best player in the world. And I get he's been injured, and I get that there's a lot of different things going on with that roster and then the coach that go beyond him. But when you tell me you're the best player in the world, I'm expecting better than one of the 6th seed right now. The 6th seed in the East, I expect better than that.
They are sitting at 6th seed, but they do have the best home record in the league right now. Last time I checked, so if that game, I think they did play in Philly last night, so they now go from being 25-2 to 26-2.
Okay, again, they are a 6th seed in the East, which means that they will not have home court advantage in any of the playoffs, and they're a terrible road team.
My fault. They're 5th seed because Indiana's 6th seed, so they are 5th seed.
So 5th seed, but even still, they're not a top 4 seed, and I believe they're a surmountable amount of games out of the 4th seed, like 3 or 4 games from what I had seen. Yeah. I think it's Toronto. Or is it Miami that's in that spot right now?
Well, in the 4th seed?
Right.
Miami's in that 4th seed right now.
Yeah. And I believe Miami's about like 3 to 4 games ahead of them right now, I think.
Yeah. Actually, they tied for games right now, actually, looking at it. So I just pulled it up. So the Heat are 35-20, and the 76ers are 35-20.
So how many games back are they from that spot?
From the 4th spot? Mm-hmm. I mean, they technically.
They just all half game. Okay, and there was a 3 seed that I was looking at that they were 4 games back. Yeah, okay, I apologize for that. But basically, unless they're able to finagle their way up to that 4 seed, they're a terrible road team. I wish I had understood exactly what their record was, but it's very much below 500, and they're gonna have to play every series that they see on the road if they were to get that far. So it doesn't instill me with a lot of confidence.
It don't either. And, like, I made a point last week talking about the 76ers and, like, just their style of play and what they need to do in order to become a better team and to become, like, championship contenders like we all thought they would be. Like, I remember going to the season, many, including myself, was like, well, they might come out the East because I didn't think the Giannis and the Bucks was going to be as dominant still because they lost Brogdon. Mm-hmm. Who else did they lose this past season?
They lost.
I think it was the only key player they lost, and Brogdon was a crucial point.
He was the biggest guy. I mean, they lost some pieces like DJ Wilson.
No, DJ Wilson's still on the team.
Or is it? Oh no. Oh, he's still on the team.
So they kept most of their players, but Malcolm Brogdon, who had a terrific season last year, going 50, 40, 90 club. Mm-hmm. He was the first person to do it.
He's been balling in Indiana too.
He has as a point guard. Actually, been playing really well for us. And we thought that they was gonna have a significant drop because of that, because he was such a crucial piece of that team. But they taking the league by storm. They picked up Wesley Matthews from Indiana. They signed Robin Lopez, and they've been playing. They just signed what's his name from New Orleans.
Oh, Marvin Williams.
Williams.
Marvin Williams.
From
Really
Charlotte,
good pickup.
That was a good pickup. They got I wouldn't say a cavalcade, but they have a bunch of like bigs who can not only defend and be the trees that they have inside the paint to go along with Giannis, but they can also shoot.
Which is good because you need to run a 4-out offense for Giannis to spread the paint.
Yeah, and Giannis is shooting significantly better this year as well. So that helps the team grow as a team. And he's only playing 31 minutes a game, and he's averaging 15 rebounds and like 6 assists a game.
And he's averaging like 31, 13, and 6 right now.
Yeah.
Which is why I get it. Because Coach of the Year is an award that's usually given out for the overachiever. But I still feel like Budenholzer deserves some love in that. Like, everybody's talking about Spoelstra or Nick Nurse or whatnot. But I think Budenholzer deserves some love.
I think, yeah. Because who won it last year? It was... I
think it was Budenholzer that won last year.
Yeah. They had the best record last year.
Yeah. And usually you don't get it twice in a row for having the best record. Because it usually goes to the overachiever. But at the same time, in my opinion, they are overachieving. Like, even though they were a good team, they're on pace to win 70 games right now.
They are.
Giannis is by far the runaway MVP candidate. So, but anyway.
Back to the 76ers. So I pulled it up here. On the road, they are 9-19. And I was right. So they did play at home yesterday. So now they improved to 26-2. But they are 9-19 on the road. And going back to what you said, with them being the current seed of the 5th seed right now in the East, they don't have the home court advantage because they would, like I said, they would face the Heat, and I could see them losing that game.
I'll tell you, Heat in 6.
And Heat been playing. I think the Heat actually had the second best home record in the league. Last time I checked, they was one of the best teams at home. So they actually have a good home record as well. And facing a team like the Heat, who have great shooters on the team, like a Duncan Robinson, like a Kendrick Nunn, like a Tyler Herro, like these, and Jimmy Butler himself, like they have good shooters on that team. They also added Jay Crowder. I mean, Iguodala, would you count him as like a good shooter? He's a good playmaker and defender.
I'd say he's smart. He picks his spots.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's a knockdown shooter, but I wouldn't leave him open either.
Max Kellerman thinks he's the best shooter in the clutch.
What's Max though? High leverage moments. Anyway.
But I don't know where like I was talking to some people talking about last week's show. Like, let me ask you, what do you think the 76ers need to do to improve their team so they can get to that actual championship contending level that they aspire to be?
So a lot of people would say they need to trade either Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, and I also agree that I feel like that tandem on paper looks really good, but it's just two things that are really good but don't fit together. I'm stealing this from Shannon Sharp, but he's talking about, do you like mashed potatoes?
I do.
Do you like ice cream?
I do.
Do you like them together?
Fuck no.
Exactly.
Oh.
So they're
Shoot,
all right, oh, cut the tape.
We'll go
but it's true, because in the day you can have two really good things, but when you put them together they don't work.
Right.
But I think their biggest problem, and even if they were to trade Ben Simmons or trade Joel Embiid, this is something that would still be an issue. Is they just don't have any shooting. Like, the only real knockdown shooter they have is Quentin Richardson, and I don't even think.
Josh Richardson.
I always say Quinn Richardson.
They got Korkmaz. Korkmaz's a good shooter. They picked up.
Yeah, Korkmaz too. And then they picked up
Alec Burks.
Alec Burks, and he's decent because he's been playing pretty good for Golden State.
They got Raul Neto from Utah.
But, I mean,
would you count him as a good shooter?
But he's how many minutes he's really gonna play?
He started last game.
Like, in terms of like real rotation guys who are
Glenn Robinson.
I'm just giving you names. These are names. These are names. But like some real knockdown guys. Because, I think it was the worst decision they ever made to let JJ go.
Yes, yeah.
That was just a terrible decision. For one, he was a veteran. He was a mature winner. And that's something that I feel like that locker room needs. Which is why they signed Al Horford.
Apparently he's not.
Way too much money. Way too much money. But they just need shooters. Because at the end of the day, Ben Simmons can't shoot, and he's going to need you to space the floor. Like, if you build around Ben Simmons the same way you did around Giannis, where you just let him go downhill with a whole bunch of shooters around him, I think they would be phenomenal. Or if you just had Joel Embiid, where you played an inside-out kind of a game where you build around him and people can't come off because you got 4 shooters around him, they would be great in either aspect. But regardless of if they trade one of them with no shooting, neither one of them really be able to play at their best.
Now, I'm against trading either one of them because there's such great talents, and they're so young. I think, here's what I think, and many have talked about this before. I think at this point it's up to Brett Brown. I think it's up to him to figure it out because when you have two great talents like this, I can see, and like I pointed out before, they do have conflicting playing styles, but there is a way you can get them two to play together. There is a way, and somebody's gonna have to like get inside Ben Simmons' head, because we seen him over the summer like shoot threes and take plenty of threes. Like he would post videos of him shooting threes, but during the NBA season we do not see him shoot threes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Ben Simmons, at the end of the day, you are a professional basketball player getting paid millions of dollars, and you're afraid to shoot threes. I know people in the little league that be chucking with no remorse, and it's just like, dude, just shoot. You're learning. At the end of the day, nobody's gonna get mad at you for putting up bricks. Russell Westbrook's been throwing up bricks for years, and he's still getting max contracts. You will be okay, Ben. I promise you will be. You will be just fine.
I mean, I can't really speak and like tell him to get out of his like comfort zone, like, because I don't know what's going through him psychologically as a player. Like, what's he thinking, or why is he not?
He traumatized by threes. Like, did threes do something to him in his childhood that made him never want to put one up?
I don't know what it is. Like,
then he needs to start chucking.
He does. We seen him take that shot in the preseason. I think he took one in the actual season as well.
No, he's made two in the season.
It's just, I don't know. And there have been times where Joel Embiid made references like the team needed shooting. People are thinking that he was calling out Ben Simmons because of that.
He called spade a spade. It's simple. But what else would he be talking about? He ain't talking about Alec.
He ain't.
He ain't talking about Al Horford.
But I mean, like I said, there is a way they can play. I think there's a way they can coexist with each other. I think it's up to Brett Brown. But let's say they do. Let's say they stay a fifth seed. Like, the playoffs start right now. They do play the Heat. They get bounced in the first round. They're not trading Joel and Ben Simmons. Elton Brand's not doing that. Brett Brown got to go. Because at this point, look at it. At this point, they've been to the playoffs with this newfound team 3 times. And they made it to the semis last year. Lost to Kawhi Leonard off that bouncing shot.
With Jimmy Butler, though.
That's when they had Jimmy Butler, which I think that was a bad decision to let him walk. That was a good addition 100%. To that team. The year before, they lost to the Celtics in
5 games.
And that was the semis too, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a semis.
Yeah, because
they got absolutely blasted. There was a game Ben Simmons had 1 point.
Yeah, because the Celtics played the Bucks in the first round that year, and they ended up playing LeBron and the Cavs in the finals, Eastern Conference Finals. So you've been to the playoffs 3 times.
And went out pretty bad. Well, last year you didn't go out bad, but that was a completely different team. You had Jimmy Butler, J.J. Redick, and all that. So that doesn't really count. That's an anomaly because that team is just completely different than the one you have now. So the year that you had a team pretty similar to what you have right now, where you have the core of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, you lose in 5 handily to the Celtics. And then I believe the year before that they lost.
Who, the 76ers?
Yeah.
They lost to the...
They lost.
Oh, you talking about before they lost to the Celtics?
I'm talking about before the Celtics.
They wasn't even in the playoffs.
They wasn't even in the playoffs that year. So the way I see it, with the roster that you have constructed now, basically, you lost the Celtics in 5. And you're getting worse in terms of, we're just looking at record, if we're looking at individual statistics.
They lost to the Celtics in 5 in 2018. And they lost to the Raptors in 7 or 6. It was 7, wasn't it? No, it was 6.
It
was game 7.
It was 7 because that was the first walk-off game winner at the buzzer for a game 7 ever.
It was. They lost to the Raptors in 7 in 2019. It's looking like they might lose to the Heat in 2020.
Basically. So in my opinion, and here's my thing too, you're gonna get a haul. Like, you're acting like you're losing a star and you're not gonna get anything in return. Like, would you get somebody? Because I guess what would you consider Joel Embiid, top 15 in the NBA?
I'd say
top 15.
He is top
12, top 10.
Most likely, yeah, top 10, top 15.
Like okay, so for a top 10, top 15 talent, you could get a lot. You can get a lot of shooters. You can get some draft picks more than likely. So in my opinion, me personally, I'd rather have Ben Simmons.
You on the side of Ben Simmons?
I'm on the side of trading Joel Embiid. I feel like this is a guard-heavy league. I feel like a guy like Giannis, who is a ball-dominant, ball handling big with ball handling skills, who can go downhill, who can pass, who can rebound, who can defend perimeter and interiorly. Surrounding them with shooters will bode well versus building around a center. Not to mention Joel Embiid is injury prone.
He is injury prone.
Ben Simmons always plays. He don't shoot when he plays, but at least he plays.
Well, we'll have to figure out that. Let's go into the next topic. We spent like 20 minutes on this one. Let's go ahead and talk about another team in the East. The Nets Kyrie Irving recently, he's been sidelined for the rest of the year. He's having shoulder surgery on the same shoulder he injured earlier throughout the season that kept him out for plenty of games, I should say. With him being out for the rest of the season, the Nets are sitting 7th in the East right now. What should the Nets do going forward? Should they tank for the rest of the season, or should they be competitive? I mean, they already in the playoffs, but it's like they already sub 500 in the East as a 7th seed, which is kind of demeaning to the East. But what should they do going forward? Does this mean that they should tank, or how does it look for their players? Should they let their players play like a Spencer Dinwiddie, a Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, and Jared Allen so they can possibly use them as trade bait so they can get another superstar for next year? Or what do you think?
Personally, I think they should just play it out, see what happens. I don't know how far they are from being out of the playoffs because they're obviously under 500 at the 7th seed.
So the Magic are 24-32, and below the Magic is the Wizards at 20-34. So they're
So it's extremely unlikely that they would actually end up falling out of the playoffs. So in my opinion, I say just play it out. You still have a good young core with Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie. You got a lot of pieces there. Joe Harris.
They got Torian. I think they got Torian.
Torian Prince.
They got who else they have? Ooh, I feel bad because I know some of their players they have.
No, they got a good I like
Wilson Chandler. He just now came back as well.
Right.
They got what's his name? He's a foreigner. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, not Evan Fournier.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. But my thing is they have a good roster. So I would say it's a young roster that needs to develop and build around themselves, become more confident. And then of course, as they play well, and they got a good squad. In my opinion, Spencer Dinwiddie is a better
Radonis Carux.
Yeah, him.
I'm saying his name right.
Pronounce his name. But yeah, they have a good roster. In my opinion, Spencer Dinwiddie was an all-star this year.
You think so? Over yes. Who would you take him over?
That's a tough question to answer, but he played on an all-star level, in my opinion. Like it's hard because there's so many guards out there. Because I can't take him over Trae or Kemba or anybody like that. But he was a solid player, and they have a better record without Kyrie than they do with Kyrie.
Now, when you talk about this before we went on air, because you always made this point saying how they had a better record without Kyrie. My excuse to that is when he played at the beginning of the season. That's when they was like still trying to like figure out their system and like play with Kyrie and trying to get adjusted to things. That's my excuse, at least from my end. I can only speak like you can have your opinion, but from my end, I
personally don't believe that.
I believe that because
they went to training camp together, they practiced together. You're telling me right now that if KD somehow was fully healthy, 100% and ready to go tomorrow, that they would have a losing record with KD on that team? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
Okay then. So what does that say?
But KD and Kyrie have two different types of playing styles. Yes, they are great. They are both great prolific scorers. But we all know Kyrie to be a little bit ball dominant.
Okay, so if LeBron joined that team, then they would have a negative record because LeBron is ball dominant.
But LeBron gets people involved.
So you're saying that Kyrie's play style isn't conducive to winning team basketball.
You set me up for that.
I didn't set you up for it. The facts are just the facts, and the facts will always come out if you prod
enough. My thing. Here's my thing on Kyrie Irving. Last season with the Celtics, he had his highest assists. He has one of his highest assist totals, and he had one of his best seasons efficiency-wise. So, because many points him being the reason why the Celtics didn't flourish as much.
Or was that in the playoffs, though? Didn't he shoot like 30-something% against the Bucks in the semifinals?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But hold on. Even this season, I just pulled up Kyrie's stats. He's averaging 6 assists this season.
Okay, then.
So,
but again,
what?
It's just, but again, you're looking at the numbers. But when you watch the game and you see what's happening and you watch how they play versus when they don't have Kyrie, right? You can just see that the team is more engaged. You know, there's actual studies shown that teams that don't have a high disparity between their assist leaders, when people have a nice distribution of who's assisting versus just like one player who's averaging like 10 assists, 11 assists. And obviously Kyrie's not averaging that many, but it's just a sign of ball dominance and how much offense has to be centered around one person. And when an offense is centered around one person, when they're off, the whole team's off. Just like what happened with Boston when they played the Bucks last year. Kyrie was terrible, but he wanted to keep shooting and running the offense through himself. And when the person you're running through the offense is doing bad, your offense is bad. All right, already. So you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. Now, I'm not saying Kyrie's not a good player because I'm not crazy. He is a great player. He was one of the reasons why Cleveland won that championship in 2016. But if we just look at Kyrie's resume, and I know it's not really fair to look at his resume before LeBron, but just look at his resume without LeBron. What has he really done? Obviously, he didn't do anything in Cleveland. But then that first year in Boston, they were pretty good, but he got injured. But he got injured
at the end of the season,
and they had a surge at the end of the season after he got injured. And then
they had a surge in the beginning of the season when he was
but he was still playing good. He was MVP candidate at the beginning of the year, and then they hit kind of a little bit of a lull, and he got injured, and then they spiked back up, and then they went 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. He comes back the next year.
Right.
What do we hear? Jason Tatum is falling off. Jaylen Brown is falling off. Gordon Hayward's not integrating well into the system. And they lose in 5 games to the Bucks in semifinals.
Hold on, you cannot blame Gordon Hayward on Kyrie.
But now he's playing great right now.
Because he just came
Jaylen Brown's playing great right now. Jason Tatum was an all-star.
Because you can't. Here's why you can't blame Gordon Hayward on Kyrie. Because he came off a serious foot injury, and it takes 2 years basically to get back to a playing level that you was before. We seen it with Paul George. But Paul George came back because after he broke his foot, he came back. I remember he came back to Indiana. He played kind of like the last half of the season. Then he played a season after that. He still wasn't himself. But the season after that, when he came back, that's when he was kind of playing on Paul George level. And you see it gradually took him time because he went back to being – he actually had his best season last year with the Thunder. So after coming off an injury like that takes time. So I feel that Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge are to blame for kind of the mess that they made last year with the Celtics because, granted, they did make a deep run into the playoffs the year before without Kyrie, which I think kind of got like some of the players like heads pumped up and kind of they built an ego off that, which is deserved because they was pretty young and they made it pretty far. But with them trying to ingratiate, if I'm saying that right, trying to put Gordon Hayward back in there, integrate. Yeah, that's another way to say it. I knew what I was trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say though.
But them putting Gordon Hayward back in that lineup kind of messed it up too. And he wasn't even his full self. We only seeing it being better now because he is now playing better and he is more comfortable as a player. He will tell you that himself.
I mean, I agree with you and you're right. But obviously I'm not saying it was 100% Kyrie's fault. But if we had a pie and we had to slice this bad boy up and divvy it out percentage-wise to who's mostly to blame, Gordon, you can get a little 10% pie. Brad, you can have like a little 15.
Oh, no.
Danny, I'll give you another 10. And then the rest, oh, go ahead, Kyrie. You big hungry, Kyrie.
Give it all to Kyrie?
You big hungry, Kyrie. Go ahead, eat all that.
How you give it all to Kyrie? Trae Young didn't play good last year.
Nobody played good last year. See, it's funny is that everybody who didn't play good last year with pretty much the same team added with Kemba Walker, who was pretty much 90% of who's 90% of Kyrie.
Terry Rozier not playing good.
But Terry Rozier's backup point guard still. So we're not going to act like Terry Rozier completely changed the structure of that team. And we seen what Terry Rozier's doing in Charlotte.
Al Horford's not playing that good this year.
Okay, but Al Horford only averaged 12 points last year and only shot like 10 field goal attempts a game. So we're not going to sit here and act like Al Horford completely changed the way the offense ran. So you're telling me that Jaylen Brown went from sophomore slump to averaging 20 a game? Jason Tatum went from, this is the guy you said was going to be the franchise cornerstone to all-star. Kemba Walker still putting up 20 a game.
Them two was playing.
Gordon Hayward's consistently 18, 20 points.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown was playing good when Kyrie was there. That's on them. They wasn't?
No.
But people not calling Jason Tatum, was they not considering him to be an all-star his rookie year? Was they not?
They said he had the potential. He's not playing the way he is right now, though.
Of course, because he's a third year in the league now. Of course, he's going to be better than he was.
But it was more based off of potential. It was more based off potential than it was how
Jaylen Brown was a sophomore when Kyrie got there.
Their best games when Kyrie didn't play.
Come on, now.
Is it true or is it not?
All right, but we're not talking about him with the stuff. We keep on him with the Nets. So, going forward, I mean, you're right. I guess they should play it out because they already in playoff contention. It's not like they already at the bottom. But
just develop your young players, play it out. End of the day, even if you bounce out the playoffs, you're gonna be the 9, the 10 seed. Like how good of a pick are you gonna get at that point?
What do you see? So with KD coming back, we already seen videos of him shooting. He's posting them and he's like shooting in the gym right now. Not as much movement, but he's like getting movement in his legs. When KD comes back and now with Kyrie coming back, where do you see this team? Like, barring they don't trade anybody or nothing changes, where do you see this team going?
I definitely think they're going to probably be somewhere in that 2 to 3 seed. I still honestly like Giannis and the Bucks. I just think the system they have with Budenholzer, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, the squad they have there, they're just really solid squad. And I think Giannis is the best player in the NBA right now. We're just going off player right now. I think he's the best. So I still think the Bucks will be the 1 seed. And I think KD won't be 100% just because that's such a rough injury. I mean, we see what happened to Kobe and Dominique Wilkins and other people who had torn in Achilles. It's obviously something that takes a toll on your athleticism and ability to jump. But his game is tailored around not having to be so athletic. So I think it won't affect him as much as it did other players. But with that in mind, I mean, KD at 90% is better than most players at 125%.
Yeah.
And then Kyrie, as much as I like to hate on him and rag on him, he's still a solid player. He's still somebody.
He's more than solid.
He's more than solid, but he's good. He's somebody that if he's your Robin and you're a solid Batman, like if it's just a Robin and Nightwing, well, But if it's Robin and Batman, okay, you can probably go, Eastern Conference Finals. But I have to see it, to be honest. I'm not sitting here saying 2021 NBA Finals yet. I got to see.
All right. I can respect that. Another guy that's kind of, when we talk about the downside, let's talk about the upside. Nikola Jokic.
Slim joke.
He's been playing pretty well lately. He's actually playing how we expected him to play at the beginning of the season. He came into the season after doing international play for Serbia, which we would think would kind of help him. But he gained weight, and throughout the season so far, he has lost 20 to 25 pounds. And in the month of February, Joker is averaging 27 points, shooting 60% from the field. And let's not forget, this man does shoot threes. He doesn't just play inside the post.
He be throwing them up.
You be chucking them now.
Throw them up.
With 12 rebounds and 9 assists. And in this recent loss that they had against the Thunder a couple hours ago, he had 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. What do you think about Joker, and how do you see the Nuggets going? Because they're number 2 in the West right now. And I always, like me, you always have a discussion about the Nuggets and how far can they go and what they need to ascend to the championship level that many have to see the potential in them being. Like, what do you think needs to happen? Because we've seen Joker, he's playing phenomenal right now. So where do you see? Does he need to stay consistent with his weight? Does he need to have a consistent diet like he's having right now? Does the pieces around him need to change? 'Cause I think they have great pieces around him.
They do. I just think he needs to stay aggressive. Because one thing about Nikola Jokic, and I already just told you, he's, in my opinion, the best center in the NBA. He's obviously not defensively as good as Joel Embiid, but he's, in my opinion, offensively so much superior. He's a better playmaker.
He is.
He's equally as good of a rebounder.
His footwork is amazing.
His footwork, his post, his ability to shoot off the catch, off the dribble.
He took Nerlens Noel. He was on the right side of the basket. Man, he did about 4.
Oh, may I have this dance?
Then he didn't move his pivot foot, but he took about 4 steps with his other one, just dancing around. Noel. Easy
this
lay.
is the last dance.
Like I like Joker. I really do. I really appreciate his game, and like with him being a point center, essentially, like we talk about spacing. The spacing that this team has with him, he can bring the ball up the court, and you having him all the way out to 3. That's kind of like the paint is open.
Oh no, the spacing that the Nuggets have is ridiculous. They got shooters everywhere. Cause,
they do.
Nikola Jokic, Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. They got straps on straps on straps.
Jeremy Grant.
Paul
Millsap.
Paul Millsap. They got guys.
Will Barton.
With all that said, I don't really believe in them as a contender yet.
Not yet.
Because you need a GOAT, and that's what I was talking about aggressiveness, is that Joker, he will have these games where he just seems like he doesn't want to score. Like that point center, he takes it too much to heart, where he wants to get everybody else the ball so much. Like I remember there was a stretch where he was having games where he had like 8 points, 6 points, 10 points, 12 points.
Yeah.
And you're too good of a player to not want to shoot that much. And I get it. You want to get everybody involved. But when you're
he was playing point guard when he was young before.
Yeah, you can tell, right. And you can tell because he's got it in him. He just wants to get everybody else involved. And he's still not that go-to scorer. Because at the end of the day, if you throw Anthony Davis on him, he's not putting up those kind of numbers in a 7-game series, in my opinion.
Oh, in the 7-game series, I might say.
In a 7-game series, he might get one. He might get one.
I say last time they played the Lakers, he was playing really good. I don't know.
But in a 7-game series, you gonna bet on that? Those are numbers you gonna throw? You gonna parlay on those? All right, then. I didn't think so.
Because we talking about 0 dark 30 LeBron at that case.
Yeah, That's a scary man right there. You get out the other way. We're not gonna talk about that right now. You're not gonna sit here and talk about the Lakers all day. And then just I look at that team, and I'm not as high on them as you are, because I like Jamal Murray, but I don't love Jamal Murray.
He's been playing really well recently.
I like him, but I don't love him. I like Gary Harris. I don't love him. I like Michael Porter Jr.'s potential, but I haven't seen it all the way yet.
Yeah, he's shown some flashes this season.
So and then just like it's the West.
Especially in the
It's
month
simple
of
as that. Like
January.
you're looking at the Lakers, you're looking at the Clippers, you're even looking at the Jazz or the Rockets.
Jazz
I don't
playing
know.
really well this year.
Exactly. So I'm just looking at that team and thinking, they're just for one that both the LA teams, in my opinion, just beating them at 5 and 6, just straight up. But even looking at like the second tier, like a Houston, are they definitively better than Houston? Are they definitively better than Utah? I don't think so.
Have the Rockets and Nuggets played since they went in the small ball lineup yet? I don't think they have.
I
That'd be a
don't
very
believe
interesting
so.
thing to see.
It would be. It'd be really interesting. But see, considering the way they played against the Lakers, I mean, the Rockets just pretty much live and die by 3. Because they beat the Lakers, but they hit 23s that game. So, I mean, how often are they going to be able to do that? Obviously they got shooters, but
I think since going small ball, they're 6-2 right now.
So we're just going to see. I mean, it's working. So we'll see. But will that work in a 7-game series when you're just constantly getting beaten up? Because at the end of the day, P.J. Tucker, he's going to have to play against Anthony Davis 7 games.
They got Robert Covington at center now.
Oh, so okay. You know what?
He's
My bad, because Robert
6'9".
Covington and 8. You're right. Robert Covington and AD, that's not even a question. Next topic.
Well, that kind of transitioned into the next topic about the Rockets. Last night in a game against the Warriors, it was obviously a blowout. We're not going to talk too much about the game itself, but there was a crucial point in the game, in the fourth quarter to be exact, where Russell Westbrook received a technical foul. His third team for the season, actually. He actually leads the league in technical fouls this year. Where he was grabbing a rebound against Damian Lee. I don't know if you saw the clip. Did you see the video of like the whole entire?
I didn't see the whole exchange. I saw an exchange with the bench, but I actually didn't see the play that initiated it.
So the play that took place, essentially, I watched it. So he grabbed the rebound and he bowled Damian Lee, but it wasn't like a hard like it wasn't as aggressive as a bowl as they make it seem. Yeah, he bowled him, but he bowled him to let him know he was there. He didn't hit him in the face or nothing. And Damian Lee, I don't know why people ain't talking about this as much. Damian Lee overreacted to that play because if you watch the video, you see there was a delay from the time that Russell Westbrook elbowed him and from the time that Damian Lee reacted to that elbow. And people are going they're going off more so on Russell than they are against other players. And I don't want to act like I'm being biased because
his star power though. At the end of the day, Damian Lee, that don't lead. You can't talk about Damian Lee and people like, oh my God, I want to click on that.
I know, but
it's got to be about Russell.
But I know, but my thing is they making, like Russell said, they making him seem like the bad guy because following that, that's when he held the ball and I can't name the other. It's like Tusano or something like that for the Warriors. You can't name these Warriors players now.
They just pulling these guys out the bargain bin at this point.
Really, and he snatched the ball out of Russell's hand. So Russell kind of got in his face a little bit. And then it kind of just kept spiraling out of control where other players were getting not too much to where it was like a violent spiral out of control, but Russell was getting in the face of other players' faces. And as he was sitting there at the corner 3, as he separated from the other 2 Warriors players, Klay Thompson and Marquise Chris, people wasn't talking about that either. People was kind of focused on Klay Thompson saying something to him. And Marquise Chris, who's being blocked by a security guard, is vividly mouthing off at Russell, which I think he was the person that caught Russell's attention when he got over there anyways. Because Russell was just sitting there with his hands on his hands on his legs.
Somebody definitely said something to him that made him turn around.
Yeah, because Russell is a very competitive player, but I think a lot of people misjudge him as just a person that's just who tries to bully people and just is just aggressive for no reason, or just a jerk. But Marquise Chris, if you watch the footage, he is vividly jabbing his mouth at Russell Westbrook. And you can see the security guard kind of blocking him off. Andrew Wiggins is there in the frame too, but he's just looking at him. Klay Thompson basically just looking at him come on, man. He just talk. He was talking a little bit, but not as much as Marquise Chris. And following that, so you've seen that part. Following that, that's when Russell Westbrook was trying to walk away, and security guard was trying to hold him back, and he bumped into Kevon Looney, who he was bumped into underneath the basket as well with Damian Lee. So it kind of spiraled out of control, and Russell ended up getting ejected from the game because of that. Like I said, I think it was Lee overreacted to that. I think it's 15 or 13 technical fouls it takes for you to get
They get suspended for a game.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's 15.
and as we are getting close to the playoffs, could this be a problem for the Rockets? Because like I said, Russell is leading the league right now with 13 techs for the season. Could this be a problem for the Rockets going forward? I'll just throw it to you. What do you think?
I think it could be because, Westbrook's got a hot temper. He just 100% in everything, full speed, full throttle, high emotion. And sometimes that emotion gets the best of him. When he just gets irritated, he just wants to yell and get in people's faces and throw some bows. Maybe some bows throwing a little bit more aggressive than others. But still, stuff like that, you just got to be more aware of where you stand in terms of, oh, okay, I'm one tech away from getting suspended, and this is, crunch time. We got to make sure that we keep a home court advantage and that we maximize our placement in the playoffs because placement in the playoffs is really important in the West because, 1 or 2 games, you go from having home court advantage to not having home court advantage and having to play one of these LA teams or something like that. Yeah. And you definitely don't want to do that in the first round. And really, if you want to get in that 3 spot, in my opinion, so you don't have to play the 1 seed. So I think that anything that's going to cause them to miss out players, especially with the small ball lineup, because Russell Westbrook is imperative for that to actually work.
He's been shining.
He has been. Because this is really the first time he's ever played with real spacing. Because in OKC, he didn't really have it with Andre Robertson and Steven Adams. And then, obviously, in Houston, where he's been there with Clint Capella, he's never truly had a paint this wide open before. He's never played with a big that can shoot, just no big in general.
And we're seeing him taking less threes and actually attacking the paint more. He's playing more to his strengths.
There's no reason not to. I mean, I watched that full Lakers game. That's the only game I've watched from start to finish since they had traded away Clint Capella. And that was actually their first game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was dominant because even though he's not a great shooter, the fact that there's no back help because it's 5 out means that you kind of want to back up because Westbrook will blow by you. He's first step is too quick. So you got to back up. Even though he's not a great shooter, he's pretty good at that 15 to 18 footer mid-range shot. So he was killing people with that. And so now you got to step up and then right by you. My bad. But
sickly child.
Flu season, what can you do? Hashtag flu game. But, I mean, he's been killing it. I think that he'll probably be fine. He's a smart guy. He recognizes that this is an important period in the season, and I think that he'll probably act accordingly.
Do you think Russell kind of gets a bad rep, and do you think he's always being painted as a bad guy? Because that's what, after the game interview, he made that point saying that like he does take responsibility for his actions, for the way he acted. He said he's going like trying to watch himself a little bit more. But for what the media paint him, because I see it myself, and me, we kind of had a discussion about this before, how the media paints him to be a bad guy. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I can see that because, again, it's just part of his personality. Now I do what I want. Whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it. The way he plays, why not? It's just his brand to be a challenger. And when you're a challenger, you got to be a bad guy. That means you got to challenge what people say. Like, people say, don't shoot so much. Like, well, screw you. I'm going to keep chugging threes. I shoot 23%. Okay, then I'm going to make 23 out of 100 threes then. Like, forget it. It don't matter. Or just the way he plays in general. People think I'm a stat pattern. Oh, that's cool. I'll keep getting triple doubles. I don't care. Oh, KD said he couldn't win with me. Okay, I'm going to win without KD. He's a challenger. And that's a good thing because it shows that he's not somebody who's going to run from adversity. But at the same time, a person who doesn't run from adversity feeds off of adversity. And that kind of comes with the terrain where people will think, this guy, he's a little off kilter.
I don't know. I think in the league, in the softer league that we in right now, it's like with his style of play, like you said, with his aggressiveness, with his tenacity, which makes him, that's why he's my favorite player right now, and he has been for the past couple of years. With the heart and soul and passion he puts into this game, many can confuse that and see that as anger and kind of see him as the bad guy. But he's really playing the game with his passion and his full heart. And because, like I said, in this game, in this day and age of the basketball era we live in, it's not as many aggressive players with the kind of mentality that we see with a Russell Westbrook or just players that we see of old. I mean, you can point to Giannis. Giannis can't play with the same aggressiveness and kind of that mentality of just a dog, like just no friends. He's trying to win.
And that's part of the terrain. You look at all the bad guys, all the people who play with that killer mentality where they're just ultra competitive and want to kill you have always been looked at like that. Kobe, Patrick Beverly, Marcus Morris, Bill Laimbeer, Russell Westbrook. I mean, that's Bill Laimbeer is obviously an older example, but just people like that are people who just make you look at them as a bad guy because they come at you with this passion and this energy and they just want to crush you.
Jordan. How you forget Jordan?
I mean,
the biggest one of them all. But even him, he wasn't painted as a bad guy.
Jordan wasn't a bad guy?
I mean, but he was a bad guy based off like how good he was.
After them kids?
That's beside the point. Let's go to the next topic, man. So, another person that's been shining collect. The NBA games are just now starting to play. You all right?
Oh, I'm phenomenal.
All right,
indubitably.
Don't give me that coronavirus, man.
Come on, man.
Man, you did just come from California.
Come on, man. Next topic. We good.
Yeah.
We good over here.
So coming back from the All-Star break, the games just started back again on Thursday. And this guy went off for his first game back against the Miami Heat, to be exact. Trae Young. He had a 50-point explosion. When I mean explosion, it was an explosion. He had 50 points, shooting 53% from the three. I think last time I checked, he shot 48 or 49% from the field altogether. He had 8 assists to go with that. They beat the Heat. I thought I put that in there. I think it was like 121 to 110. I checked. Let me go ahead and pull it up. But what do you think about Trae Young's explosion? And what do you think the Hawks should do to help Trae Young? Because they already got pieces like a John Collins. They just traded and got Clint Capella, who did not play last night, but I think it'll be a great addition for the team. And they have a good shooter in Kevin Huerter, who's been stepping up more this year. What do you think about the Hawks and just Trae Young, and where you see them going forward in the future with their young pieces?
I think they got a lot of potential. Obviously, Trae Young, he's just an all-star starter in his second year, putting up 29 and 9. He's an absolute killer. One of the best young point guards in the league. One of the best young players in the league in general. And John Collins, slept on power forward. They have young player with a lot of upside too.
It was 129 to 124. My fault.
Right. And then again, you got to think about it. He put up 50. Like, okay. But you look at that team, Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala, these aren't slouch perimeter defenders. In many aspects, they're some of the best in the league, and he's still doing that with 20 points in the fourth quarter, too. In a close game, these aren't garbage time buckets either. So, I mean, hey, that's tough.
He was chewing them like the whole entire game. That's the point. He was playing really well, and Trae Young, many was saying, well, he shouldn't be an All-Star this year. They have a losing record. They have one of the worst records in the league. But his play for this season it's so undeniable to deny this man's talent and the way he's been playing this season. Like, how could you not make this guy an All-Star? And I don't know
anybody saying not an All-Star. Maybe not a starter, but not All-Star at all.
I think he should be a starter even in the East. Like when you
definitely the East because not really a lot of competition guard wise, but still. But that's a whole different topic. I just feel like the All-Star game, the criteria for what makes you an All-Star is so ambiguous to me that some people will be in with worse numbers than somebody else on a worse winning team. Like Brandon Ingram being an All-Star versus Devin Booker. I just felt like Devin Booker has better numbers and is on a better team record-wise. Not to say the Suns are really good, but record-wise they're better. But he wasn't an All-Star until Dame Lillard had to sub out.
Yeah.
And obviously there's still the idea that, we have to have certain positions and yada, yada, yada. So I get that, but still, that's something I just don't like.
I was ready to make the point of how I know we had an argument. Me and you was on the same side of on this argument. People were saying that Trae Young was better or is better than Luka Doncic.
No.
With the recent play because Luka's playing really well this year too. He's actually MVP candidate. Are you still on the side of saying Luka Doncic is better than Trae Young?
Oh yes, definitely. But not even that's not a knock to Trae Young.
It's not.
That's just a nod to how amazing Luka Doncic is. Because, this guy is 20 years old, averaging 29, 9, and 9 right now.
Yeah.
Something like that. On a Mavs team that's comfortably in the playoffs right now when people said they wouldn't even be in the race.
Six seed, I think.
I believe so.
No, they 7 right now. So they 7. Right. They tied with the Thunder at 34-22 record.
Right. But they're about what? 8 games ahead of the 9 seed right now?
Yep.
Right. So they're comfortably in the playoffs right now. For a team that people said wouldn't even make the playoffs, they're cozily sitting in it right now.
They are 9 games. Okay, yeah, you right.
Right. So that just speaks volumes to me because at the end of the day, and I get it, obviously his team's not that great on paper, but Luka Doncic is winning games. At the end of the day, we can look at the numbers, but this is a team game. It's not track. It's not tennis. It's not golf. We're looking beyond just their individual numbers. We're looking at victories. And Trae Young's putting up 29-9, okay, but the Hawks have, 15, 17 wins on the season, and they're at the bottom of the East.
16-41.
Right, and at the bottom of the East.
14th.
So I can't really sit here and say you're better than the guy who's putting up better numbers in a better conference with a better record. I can't.
You can't. I'm still on that side too, saying Luka is better. But like you said, it's not a knock on Trae Young.
Not at all.
Because Trae Young is a phenomenal player, and he's showing up with, when people gave him the prediction to be the next Steph Curry, I see somebody say he can be better than Steph Curry.
Steph wouldn't put up 29-9 his second year.
His second year, so he might be on his way to be better than a Steph Curry, but it's going to take some time, obviously, because that team's not a Golden State. But they're also young that they can have the potential of being that team in the future.
Yeah, hey, Golden State, Steph's second year was terrible. So.
Yeah, and that was before Klay Thompson even really got to play, because Klay Thompson I don't think Klay Thompson was there yet his second year.
No, he got there in 2011, I believe.
Yeah, and Klay Thompson, I remember when Klay Thompson was 69 on 2K. That's after they traded Monte Ellis. It's just going to take time, but they got some good pieces on there. Another thing I want to talk about, speaking of the Warriors, actually, great transition. The Warriors owner Joe Lacob recently came out and said that the team will not tank the rest of the season.
So what have they been doing?
I don't.
So you tell me they haven't been tanking?
I mean, they've been trying. They've been giving a fighting effort. I mean,
so they're really gonna start trying now.
They've been trying this whole season. So
see, why
hold on.
Even say anything?
Hold on, let me put this out. Hold on, before you get into it. Yeah. So Klay Thompson has just been recently ruled out for the rest of the year. Many was speculating he might come back in March, but with the way their record is, and many have been advocating for this even before they came out and said this. Like, they have the worst record in the league right now, 12-44. Like, many have said, why should he come back? I'm on that side too. Why should he come back? Curry is still is still due to come back in March, possibly.
What is the point? What is he gonna do?
I'm on the fence. I don't think they should play either, because here's my suggestion. I made this point, if not on last week's show, the week before that. I think, it was last week. I think they should tank. It was the week before that. My fault.
They don't even need to tank. They just need to keep doing what they're doing.
Well, because they're going to lose regardless. I think they should lose. Don't worry too much about the season. I think they should sit out Curry and Klay. Let them sit out. I think they should lose. Hopefully with the amount of losses they have, they'll have a higher percentage of getting a top draft pick. And I think they should draft James Wiseman or a good center. Because what you'll do is this. Let's say they do get that draft pick. Let's say they do get a James Wiseman. They'll come back next year. They'll have Steph. They'll have Klay. They have Andrew Wiggins. They have Draymond Green. And they'll have James Wiseman at the 5.
That's a tough 5.
That's a tough 5. They right back in championship contention, just like that.
They are, which is why I think
and off
Steph
the bench,
and Klay don't play.
They'll have Eric Pascal, who's been playing really well.
He's been hooping.
He's been playing really well. Damian Lee, he's been playing good as well. Kevon Looney, who's a good piece for them.
Back. Yes.
So they'll have some good pieces on there.
Right. So my thing is, don't play. Go home, Steph. Go home. Hang out with your kids.
Yeah.
Cook with Aisha, whatever you
I was
want to
do. Go ahead, cook with Aisha.
Cook with Aisha. You know, do whatever it is you do. Chew on some mouth guards at home at the crib. Buy some new cars and get some nicer shoes, something like that. I don't know. Do whatever.
Order pizzas from the delivery people who don't know who you are.
Right, exactly. Literally, do anything else. Do anything else, because there's no point. I just don't get why. Why play? Why?
I mean, I guess to show that that the team is not about that. Like, that's not their mantra.
No,
because they've been held to such a high standard for years.
You have 12 wins, Steph. You have 12 wins.
They gave us so much in 5 years.
You could literally win every game for the rest of the season and not make the playoffs. There's no reason to come back. Stay at home. You will be missed, but I will see you in October.
I mean, at this point, the league kind of suffered too from the Warriors not playing. The Warriors not being as good, because with them being a Western Conference team, there's only been really two good on the Pacific, I should say, not just Western Conference, on the Pacific standard time. There's going to be only two good teams out there with the Lakers and Clippers because the league benefits when the Warriors are playing, and they already had like a bunch of Warriors games scheduled this season, and there are time slots for their major games on ESPN, TNT. So when the Warriors are not playing, it hurts the league as well because, like I said, it does help them in revenue and viewership of their games. So they might take a dip this year, but I think it'll be worth it for next year.
Next year, I think it's going to be a great year. KD comes back.
Oh, my God.
The Warriors will be back.
Oh, my God. John Wall will be back?
Willie?
Don't talk about John Wall. Okay, I think John Wall will be back.
I forgot John Wall was in the league.
For a minute, I did too. I ain't going to lie. For a minute, I did too.
I'm not going to lie to you. I forgot.
For a minute,
How does man get injured while he was injured?
He slipped in the bathtub. Stop! Don't make fun of John Wall. We not going to talk about this man. So speaking of like good additions and waiting for people to come back, the buyout season is in full effect right now, and some good teams. There been some notable buyouts for the season right now. The Rockets picked up DeMarre and Jeff Green, which kind of is adding to that formula of a small ball and kind of stretching the floor and shooting. DeMarre and Jeff Green both good. I think they're both good veterans, both who are good shooters. DeMarre was almost an all-star one year when he took the Atlanta Hawks. The year they had Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap.
That was one of those years where they just give out all-star bids because they are the best team in the conference.
I mean, he was the only one on that team that didn't get. He was the only one that started 5 that didn't become an all-star. But remember, Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, Paul Millsap, and who was their center?
Yeah, Al Horford.
No.
It was because it was Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap, Kyle Korver, Al Horford.
Yeah, it was for Al Horford.
And they won 60 games and got swept in the playoffs.
They did.
Because they were trash. From jump, they were always trash. They only got 4 All-Stars because the East is trash, and they were the best team. So, literally, that's it.
But for the team, for where he is right now, I think for the Rockets, that was a good pickup. Jeff Green actually had 17 points, shooting 4 from 5 from the 3 against the Warriors last night. What do you think about that buyout?
I think it's great for the Rockets. I mean, Jeff Green is a great pickup. I always loved Jeff Green. He's somebody I followed since pretty much he played in Boston. DeMarre Carroll, he's a good 3-and-D guy. He's definitely a good guy to add because it's pretty much aligns directly with what Rockets are trying to do with their offense with another guy who has a little bit of height, who has a little bit of ability.
Jeff Green taller too.
Yeah, and then Jeff Green, because they can both guard 3 or 4s. They can't really guard 5s. But
Jeff Green's about 6'9", 6'10".
He's not going to really hang with any of the big 5s. Like, you're not going to put him on Dwight Howard for 10 minutes of a quarter.
No.
So, but again, they both have size. They both are mobile and can guard the perimeter, but also switch on like a small ball 4. So I like that. 2 good pickups.
That was a good pickup for them. Let's talk about a buyout that you was against. One that hurts your favorite covenant.
It really doesn't. I'm gonna explain to you later. Go ahead.
The Clippers picked up point guard Reggie Jackson from Detroit Pistons. What does this mean for the Clippers as they get another rough rider in their team?
I don't think it really matters because I just think, where is he going to fit into the equation? Is he going to start over Pat Bev?
He's not going to start. I think they're going to have him come off the bench.
But Lou Williams runs the bench unit as a point guard. So where are you going to put him?
I think
he's going to be your third-string point guard?
No, he's not going to be a third string.
So move Lou to the 2.
What they'll do is they'll put Jackson at the 1, Lou at the 2, because he basically plays the 2. That's really his position. He plays the shooting guard. You put Shaman at the 3.
Right.
And then you put Shaman's been starting since Paul George is out, but with Paul George back, you'll have Shaman at that 3. At the 4, you'll have
Trez.
I think they put Trez at the 5.
They put Trez at 5.
So
they put JaMychal Green at the 4.
Yeah. So that lineup still runs.
That's not, to me, that's just not a good lineup. Like that's one of those pickups where I felt like they didn't pick him up because they would like him on his team. They picked him up because they didn't want him on the Lakers. So really, I don't really feel like it was a gain for the Clippers. Really, it was just a move to posture up on the Lakers and not let him go there because they knew we needed another guard. So I really don't care that much.
You think the Clippers organization are in that much competition with the Lakers that they're willing to make a move like that to
100%? I guarantee it. If I was a fly on the wall in that office, I promise you they said, well, do we really need Reggie Jackson? No. Do we want the Lakers to get him? No. All right, give him a contract. I 100% believe that. Do you think they needed him?
I think it adds to the team. I don't think they necessarily.
What exactly did he bring to the team they didn't already have? Did they need more playmaking?
I think, so Patrick Beverly has been out for a couple games this season. So they do need a backup point guard because when Patrick Beverly does not play at the 1, they have like a Jalen Robinson play at the 1. So they don't have as many talented point guards on that team, so that helps them in that aspect of when the patch ability goes down. Or like the lineup I just suggested, he can come off the bench and still play with a Lou Will. Like, I don't understand what you're saying, because Lou Will does run the ball up, like bring the ball up the court even as a 2. He can still do that with Reggie Jackson. But Reggie Jackson adds to that team, I'll tell you what he adds. He's a good pick and roll player. He has a little bit of size on him, where Lou Will and Patrick Beverly do not. So it adds a little bit more size to your guard position, which the Lakers do have, because they do have taller guards. So it adds with that when you have a Reggie Jackson. Like I said, he does play well with pick and roll. With adding when having a Montrezl Harrell come off the bench with him as a good pickup for them in that aspect. And then you have a Marcus Morris on that team who can space the floor. He can do pick and rolls as well, but you do a pick and pop with him because he's more of a shooter. So, and you have an Ivica Zubac as well. So I think it adds in that aspect, and you had a good playmaker in that team, which kind of takes the load off of Lou Will, which you really wasn't putting too much of a load on him. But you kind of have that guy that can bounce off with a Lou Will and a Montrezl Harrell on the bench. So I think that's what he adds to that team.
I just think the addition is so incremental that I'm not sitting here thinking, wow, that was a piece that make the Clippers just insurmountably better.
I mean, because they you might not agree, but I think they have a better roster.
They do from top to bottom, they have a better roster. I just feel like at the top, we're still better. Because LeBron is better than Kawhi. PG, for one, I don't even know if he's going to play, because he's had 3 hamstring injuries like every other day.
Yeah, it's beginning.
So I'm honestly not really concerned about it. I just think that and plus when it comes down to it, you don't go 10, 11 deep in your rotation in the playoffs. You go in like 7 or 8. And I'll take my 7 or 8 over the Clippers 7 or 8. I'm cool.
I mean, but Reggie Jackson fits in that 7-8 category. Cause like I said, you already have your 5. They don't play Zubac that much.
But I just don't think Reggie Jackson is really changing. At the end of the day, and this is how I feel. At the end of the day, with all these buyouts, none of these people are really changing an organization. Like a Reggie Jackson, the best player, like Marcus Morris, out of all the pickups they had, is the one that I think was just a killer pickup. I wish we could have got Marcus Morris. But with that in mind, Reggie Jackson, again, it just doesn't. I don't wake up out of my sleep at 4 in the morning. Oh, Reggie Jackson, to the Clippers.
But y'all,
like, I don't care. It's like, oh, Reggie Jackson went there. Dang, we wouldn't like to have him, but okay, cool.
So speaking on the Lakers, you all
thank you
finally made a move, because we've been anticipating you all for at least to make a trade or do something. Y'all didn't make a trade.
Contracts didn't add up.
And y'all players wasn't really something that people out there really wanted.
People did want us. Pete Kuzma was a coveted trade asset, but he's on a rookie contract.
Not the way he's looking this season. Y'all finally picked up somebody. Y'all bought out Markieff Morris from the Pistons, but as a caveat to that, the Lakers did waive Boogie Cousins. So, is this what the Lakers needed? And what
needed?
Hold on, I'm gonna ask you 2 parts.
Okay.
Is this what the Lakers needed? And my second part of that question is, what is Boogie Cousins' future?
Okay, I'll start with the first one. So, is it what we needed? No, we needed another playmaker. Because that offense when LeBron goes out is just stagnant. Because Rondo, he just don't have any more. I guess we got to wait for playoff Rondo to come back out, because regular season Rondo has kind of been a dud this year.
He's inconsistent.
Yeah, he's just been inconsistent. He's been up and down. Alex Caruso, I love him to death, but he's just not a guy that I can say, if we give him 24, 26 minutes a game, that I can count on him to run that bench unit or work with LeBron well in tandem.
But he shows signs. He shows
signs. I love Alex Caruso. I love me some Alex Caruso.
Right.
I remember I just threw him a ballot in the All-Star game just because this is my guy. But at the same time, I did. Hey, him and Taco Fall got on there because people voted for him. It's simple. It wasn't just me.
Go on.
But regardless, it's not really what we needed, but it does help. It gives us another person that we can have who can switch from perimeter to guarding some fours. So we can put him on like Montrez or Marcus Morris. Obviously put him on his brother. So I think he just gives us some more bench depth, especially games where Kuzma may not be offering us as much. Because in games that he has been streaky, and the thing about Kuzma, he doesn't really defend. He's not really a great rebounder. He's not really a great playmaker. I think Markieff Morris gives us a little bit better defense, better rebounding. And I think his basketball IQ in terms of team success is better at this point, just because he's an older player with a little bit more understanding of how winning teams work. Not to say he's ever really been on a really winning team, but I just think it's a good pickup. As for Boogie, I honestly just think the timing was really weird, because I hadn't heard anything about Boogie all year. And then around this time yesterday, we start hearing reports about, oh, he could come back in the playoffs, or, oh, he thinks LeBron should run for president. And then he gets waived within 24 hours. That seems weird, because I hadn't heard anything about Boogie all year, and then that happens.
Yeah, well, when I watch Laker games, I'll be like, who's that on the bench?
Because I see him there. He's always
that's
active.
DeMarcus.
And I just hate to see it, because I love DeMarcus Cousins. I've always loved him. I remember when he played here with John Wall in UK in 2009. I loved DeMarcus Cousins. I loved him in Sacramento.
I didn't like him in UK.
I did. I loved him. I remember when he elbowed Swap Shot. Jared, do you remember when he elbowed Swap Shot in the mouth in 2009? I didn't really like that back then because I was a Louisville fan. But when I watched him in the NBA, because my thing is I usually don't like UK players when they're at UK because of UK.
Yeah.
But then when they go in the league, now they're independent, so I can let bygones be bygones. And I like this game. I just felt like he was a super skilled center. I felt like he never got as much love as he deserved because Sacramento was always, out of the playoffs and irrelevant. And I felt like the half season that he was healthy in New Orleans, he was playing really good basketball. And I was really looking forward to seeing him, Anthony Davis, and Rondo doing their thing in the playoffs. And then he got injured. And his whole career has just pretty much been on a downward spiral since. Not even just on the court, but just personally. So more than anything, I just hope that he can stay healthy and get the right opportunities somewhere with somebody eventually.
Before his injury took place and he was still a free agent, I remember I tweeted something out. I actually tweeted at him. I told him to sign with the Clippers. Cause I thought it would have been a great addition for the team.
He better not go. He better not go to the Clippers.
It can happen. If that happens, he don't have to move. That'd be a good move for him himself.
If he goes to the Clippers, the streets are done.
I mean, the
streets are done.
He does not owe y'all any loyalty if he does go to the Clippers.
He doesn't.
Because y'all waived him. Y'all cut him loose. So it's like y'all already like showing him that y'all don't care.
I didn't do that. I would have kept you, big dog. You could have cut somebody.
DeMarcus, Boogie, listen to me.
Cut the tape. I don't want to hear this. No.
Go to the Clippers.
Nah.
Get you a ring.
Don't go to the Clippers.
Get you a ring, Kurt Boogie. Come on.
Do you really want to go in the basement of the building where you was reigning supreme for all these times? All these months? Nah.
You want to
go to the basement?
We do low management over here. We take good care of you. You'll be all right. We don't need you to come back immediately. Just take your time. Be ready for us in March, April. We get rolling the playoffs. Gonna get you that ring. We're gonna get your revenge on Lakers.
Don't do that, Boogie, because it's gonna make you even more sick when you get beat by the team that waived you. Don't even do it.
They definitely won't win if you come join. But I think I don't want to see going back to this Boogie Cousins. Like, I don't think that he needs to be one of those players that kind of just like drift out the league and we just kind of forget about, because he's such a great talent. And yes, him and Isaiah Thomas is kind of like called the bad end of a stick lately since their injuries, because Isaiah Thomas he got waived by the Clippers too.
Got waived by the Clippers.
He got waived by the Clippers after he got traded to the Clippers in a trade that sent Marcus Morris there, and he was playing okay for Washington. But ever since his hip injury, he's been on a downward spiral too. And
he lost $100 million off that.
He did. He was out in NBA.
He wasn't gonna get max, but he was gonna get at least $100 million, like 4-year $100 million.
Yeah, he averages like what, almost 30 that year, and he was playing
29 points, 6 assists,
and that had like
and Celtics was the 2 seed in the league,
and
2 seeds in the East, I should say. Yeah, pay the man. And I loved Isaiah Thomas his whole career too. I watched him all the way back in Sacramento because he played with Boogie back when he was a rookie. He played in Sacramento. I remember that, and he was cold. He was averaging like 20 points a game at some point with the Kings. Yeah,
he was the last pick in the draft. He played. I really started noticing more when he played with the Suns. When he played with Goran Dragic.
I did, but that was just weird. That was just a weird roster because they had Goran Dragic, Isaiah Thomas, and Eric Bledsoe. I just felt like you got 3 point guards, all of which are kind of on the shorter side. That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But either way, hopefully both of them, but especially Boogie, find a way to get back in the league and find prominence, because they both know how to play. It's just two players who just got injuries at the wrong time. Getting injured on your contract year.
Who you think can use a Boogie Cousins? As we end the show, who you think you can end it?
Well, I guess it really, at this point, it really doesn't matter where he goes, in my opinion, because I just feel like I just don't trust him to be a contributor to a team right now. Because even when he played for Golden State, he only had one good game in the finals. And in the other games, he was pretty much irrelevant.
He played good in the first round.
He played okay in the first round, but I just think for a contender playing against another contender, I don't think that
And he played.
Boogie is the guy
He
who's going
played
to put
good
you over
in the
the
season
top.
too, though.
He did.
He
had
showed
his
enough.
moments.
He showed enough in
He
the
had
season.
flashes, but I'm just thinking. I mean, honestly, I hate to say it, but he would be a really good fit for the Clippers because that's pretty much the only thing I can think beyond just health and injuries, really, that would derail them is just the fact they don't really have any bigs. I mean, Montrez, he's still 6'8" at the end of the day. He plays big, but he's still not big.
Zubac.
Zubac, at the end of the day, he's not really a center that I can put on Dwight Howard or Anthony Davis with any confidence.
Oh my God! Could you imagine Patrick Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Boogie Cousins? Oh my God!
I just don't think it's that big of a deal because right now Boogie.
Oh my God!
See, people you get hyping him up off just name, but when we're just looking at Boogie as who he is right now, that's not really saying.
But we don't really need him. We don't need him to do that much though. If
You don't need. That's what I'm saying. He'd be a good pickup. I guess I'm thinking outside of the Clippers. I mean,
I can't.
That's really the only contender that I think will really.
Could we
matter.
see him go to Washington?
I don't see why. I mean, I guess
Maybe
he'll play with
John
John Wall.
Be there with
But I
Bradley
mean,
Beal.
yeah, they both can be on injury reserve together. I guess that'd be cool.
I mean, like outside the Clippers, I really don't see.
That'd be a
team.
fun rehab session.
It would be a fun rehab. I mean, I'm gonna go to some of the teams real quick as we end the show. I mean, just looking at them, the Clippers would need them. The Nuggets don't. The Lakers just dropped them. The Rockets definitely won't need them now after they.
So no contending teams really need them.
Mavericks. They did just lose.
I could see that.
They did just lose Dwight Powell for the season, but they did trade for Willie Cauley-Stein. They can get Boogie Cousins.
I mean, maybe it's just the fact that I just feel like he's not really somebody who's gonna make a really big difference to a team.
The Spurs.
Bottom line, again,
The Spurs won him
maybe.
before.
Again, maybe, but there's teams that he could go to, but I just don't think any teams that actually are in the hunt for anything.
The Celtics. I want him to go to the Celtics too.
I think him going to the season would be good because in his cancer, he's solid, but you could
I
always.
don't like it. He just can't. He cries too much for me.
Destroyed Steven Adams last year in the playoffs.
Well, whatever. But that's all we have for today. This is probably the longest show I actually recorded, and all three of them that I've done. But it's with you. And you always make it well. You always make it fun. We had a good discussion. And a week that really didn't provide us too much basketball topics, but we made good work with it. And
as always,
if we look to the second half of the season, it's going to be very interesting after these buyouts. There are some buyouts still going on right now as we speak, possibly with some players. But it's pretty much set in stone who we see in terms of like the award races and kind of who's going to be the championship contenders and playoff contenders.
You want to give like your quick, or you just want to wrap up? Because I
forgot
about award race. We didn't even talk about that.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that another time. But we at an hour and 12 right now. We're going to wrap it up right now. So, George, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Dragging you from upstairs to do some work.
Right. Got me over here being unproductive talking about basketball.
You wanted to come down here. Don't act like I forced you down here on your own when you didn't come down on your own merit.
I didn't
you
fight you
on
too
a free
hard.
will.
I didn't fight you.
Whatever. I had to ask. You ask yourself.
Maybe.
Thank you all for joining us here today on Trae Ball. We see you all again next week. Next week I should have a guest, but I will find out. Peace out.
See ya.